themselves profoundly disconnected. They are living alone, often in dense urban environments surrounded by millions, yet with minimal, sometimes non-existent, meaningful human contact. It's a stark paradox, this urban solitude. The fear that haunts many is not just the loneliness itself, but the idea of dying without anyone noticing. This isn't an abstract fear, it's a reality known in Japan as or lonely deaths. It happens far too often. Individuals passing away in their homes, their absence only discovered weeks, sometimes months later. Imagine that for a moment, the end of a life unremarked, unmourned in its immediate aftermath, simply because there was no one consistently present to notice. Part of this, of course, is a story of changing family structures. The traditional multi-generational Japanese household, where grandparents lived with their children and grandchildren providing mutual support, has become less common. Urbanization has drawn younger generations to cities for work, often far from their hometowns. Economic pressures and smaller living spaces in cities also contribute to this shift. So while families may still care, the day-to-day physical presence and the fabric of shared daily life have, for many, frayed or disappeared entirely. For these elderly individuals, the days can stretch out, marked by a profound lack of interaction. Now let's shift our focus from the later stages of life to the working years, because loneliness isn't just an affliction of the old. In Japan, the culture of work is famously all-consuming. For many, particularly the iconic salaryman, life can become a relentless cycle. A long commute, incredibly long hours at the office, and then the journey back home, often to a small, silent apartment. The connections outside of this demanding work sphere, they can be tenuous, sometimes almost non-existent. The Japanese work ethic is legendary, often characterized by dedication, precision, and a deep sense of responsibility to the company. But this can also manifest as extreme presenteeism, staying late not because there's urgent work, but because leaving before the boss or senior colleagues is frowned upon. Add to this the common practice of nomikai, or after-work drinking sessions with colleagues. While these might seem like social events, they are often an extension of the workday, more about obligation and maintaining group harmony than forging deep personal friendships. Then there's the commute. In megacities like Tokyo, daily commutes can easily stretch to an hour or more each way, spent packed into crowded trains. Chapter 3. Pixels and Silence, the Hikikomori Generation. The experience of loneliness in Japan also takes a unique and particularly concerning form among some teenagers and young adults, the phenomenon of hikikomori. This term describes individuals who withdraw completely from society, often confining themselves to their bedrooms for months, even years on end. They cease to attend school or work, and their primary, sometimes only interaction with the outside world is through the internet, through games, forums, or social media. It's more than just shyness or introversion. It's an acute and prolonged state of social isolation. What triggers such extreme withdrawal? It's rarely a single cause, but rather a confluence of factors. Intense academic pressure from a young age, the high stakes of entrance exams, experiences of bullying at school, or a failure to meet societal or familial expectations can all play a role. For some, a particular setback or social trauma can be the catalyst that leads them to retreat, seeking refuge from a world they perceive as overwhelming, judgmental, or hostile. The perceived safety of four walls becomes preferable to the perceived dangers outside. In this context, Japan's advanced digital culture plays a complex, double-edged role. On one hand, the internet can provide a lifeline, a form of minimal contact with others, a space where one can find communities of shared interest, however niche. Online games and virtual worlds can offer a sense of belonging or achievement that feels absent in the real world. However, this same digital environment can also enable and deepen the isolation, making it easier to avoid face-to-face interaction and the challenges that come with it. Chapter 4. Love in a Time of Loneliness, the Relationship Recession. The threads of loneliness we've been tracing also weave deeply into the fabric of romantic relationships, marriage, and family formation in Japan. There's a well-documented trend. Young people are dating less, they're marrying later in life, if they marry at all, and consequently, the nation's birth rate has been declining for decades, posing significant demographic challenges. And while personal choice is undoubtedly a factor, it's far from the whole story. This relationship recession is also fueled by financial pressures, a growing sense of disillusionment, and crucially, that pervasive lack of deep foundational connection. Let's look at the statistics for a moment because they paint a clear picture. The average age of first marriage for both men and women has been steadily rising. The proportion of people who remain unmarried throughout their lives is also increasing, and Japan's fertility rate is among the lowest in the world. These aren't just abstract numbers, they represent millions of individual lives and choices shaped by a complex web of societal forces. They point to a fundamental shift in how relationships are approached or perhaps avoided. Economic factors play a significant role. For many young Japanese, particularly men, job security can be precarious, with an increase in part-time or contract work, rather than the lifetime employment that was once the norm. Chapter 5. Embracing solitude or resigning to it. Japan's solo culture. As these patterns of individual living and social disconnection have become more prevalent, Japanese society has, in its characteristically innovative way, adapted. We're seeing the rise of what can be called a solo culture, where an increasing array of goods, services and experiences are designed specifically for individuals. From entertainment to housing to dining, Japan is catering to the person who is, by choice or by circumstance, on their own. It's undeniably convenient, but it also prompts a deeper question. Does this reflect an empowering embrace of independence or a societal resignation to widespread loneliness? You can see this solo culture everywhere. Think of the famous Ichiran ramen restaurants with their individual flavor concentration booths designed for a private, focused ramen eating experience, minimizing interaction with both staff and other diners. There are solo karaoke establishments where you can belt out tunes in a room built for one. Single-person apartments, often incredibly compact and efficient, are abundant. Travel agencies even offer solo travel packages catering to the lone adventurer. The market for one is booming. There's no denying the convenience. For someone who wants to enjoy a meal, sing their heart out, or travel without having to coordinate with others or make compromises, these options are fantastic. So what do we make of all this? It seems clear that loneliness in Japan isn't just a fleeting feeling or a personal problem affecting a few. It's something more systemic, more ingrained. As we've explored, from the elderly facing their twilight years in solitude, to workers caught in isolating routines, to young people retreating from societal pressures, and a culture increasingly catering to the individual, loneliness is becoming, in many ways, a pervasive feature of life. It's a quiet hum beneath the surface of a society often lauded for its collective efficiency and harmony. While the rest of the world often marvels at Japan's technological innovation, its cultural exports, and its unique societal structures, its people, in many instances, are quietly slipping into deeper and deeper states of solitude. This isn't to say that Japan is the only country grappling with loneliness. Far from it. Many modern industrialized nations are seeing similar trends, but the particular confluence of demographic shifts, intense work culture, societal pressures, and historical context in Japan seems to have created a particularly potent environment for this crisis to take root and grow. The loneliest generation may not be a future dystopian concept. For many in Japan, it feels like a present reality. And the sobering thought is that unless there are significant shifts in how work is structured, how communities are built, how individuals connect with one another on a fundamental human level, this generation may not be the last. The challenge is immense, but acknowledging the unseen, the unspoken, is always the first step. Loneliness isn't just a feeling. In Japan, it's becoming a way of life. While the rest of the world marvels at Japan's efficiency and innovation, its people are quietly slipping into solitude. The loneliest generation is already here, and unless things change, it won't be the last. If you found this story important, share it. Let's talk about the people we don't see.